Good afternoon. Gonna let a few people get on here and then we'll start the stream. I'll give you an update in just a minute. It's wait about 60 seconds and we'll start the stream. We're gonna have an outbreak of severe weather and extremely destructive winds across Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Missouri. Get ready. We're gonna start talking here in just a minute. Give just a few more minutes for people to log in and then we'll start the stream. Yeah, major wind event, that's correct. Okay, here we go. So the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman has issued a huge moderate risk for today across Oklahoma and adjacent parts of northwest Texas, the southeast Texas Panhandle, as well as extreme southern Kansas. And it continues to span as day goes on. We continue to expand this risk. The primary thing I'm going to focus on initially is going to be the wind threat, which is going to be could end up being a historic damage and wind event across Oklahoma tonight. SPC has a 45% hatched area for extreme damaging winds, and we'll get into why this is going to happen. And so basically it's going to be a big wind event. We're going to have some tornadoes initially starting in southwest Oklahoma, and then this big, huge squall line in Bow Echo line with QCL tornadoes within the line are going to start in southwest Oklahoma with a meso-low and then rocket up along and probably very close to the I-44 corridor on up into north central, northeast Oklahoma later on tonight. So big wind threat there. We'll talk briefly about the tornado threat. I'll spend more time on that in a minute. We've got a big 2% area, and this is basically for the 2 and 5 is mainly going to be for QCL tornadoes within the line. So the wind, it's just above the surface at 900 millibars, 850, from 1,500 feet, really even about 300 feet off the ground, all the way up to 15, 20,000 feet is kind of the extreme levels, 80 to 100 mile an hour winds at 5,000 feet today over Oklahoma, central and eastern Oklahoma tonight. And as the storms move into those really high winds, the chances of momentum of those winds getting transported down to the ground are very high. And we're going to look at the new wording from the SPC was very extreme on the wording, what's getting ready to happen today. And then obviously there'll be some hail threat as well, mainly again out west where we have a little bit more higher cape and a little bit higher temperatures compared to the rest of the state of Oklahoma. So might have some golf ball size hail, maybe a little bit larger than that out west here, but as the storms first get going. So let's go in here and look at this is Storm Prediction Center issued at about 10:30 a.m. this morning Central Time. A derecho is now forecasted, widespread damage and embedded swaths of significant severe gusts from 80 to 110 miles an hour. Okay, the first line, the derecho is forecast for widespread damage and winds and embedded swaths of significant damage, severe gusts 80 to 110 miles an hour, centered on parts of Oklahoma this evening and tonight. Embedded tornadoes anticipated as well. The greatest potential for strong EF2 to EF3 tornadoes will be across southwest Oklahoma this evening. Okay, forget the tornadoes right now. Folks, when you have 80 to possibly 110 mile an hour winds going across a big chunk of Oklahoma tonight after dark, you're going to have widespread power outages. You're going to have right here near I-40 right now, I-40, I-44, I-35 through the state of Oklahoma. And we'll jump to this here. I'm gonna break here and just jump to something here real quick. I've been through these kind of events in the past, and they're going to produce a lot of problems over the state of Oklahoma. So I'm out in western Oklahoma right now, and all these not just east-west roads, the winds will probably be anywhere from west-southwest to westerly as this squall line comes in, and the storms will move east-northeast, about 60 to 70 miles an hour. But I-40, with these damaging winds and IE tornado and embedded tornadoes, you're going to have 18-wheelers. Here's I-40. There are tens of thousands of 18-wheelers per hour on I-40, I-35, I-44, all these corridors after dark tonight. Here's I-40 through Oklahoma City, I-35 from running Wichita down to southern Oklahoma, I-44 here. You got the H.E. Turnpike going down to Lawton. All these interstates where you have north-south roads parallel. If you're driving a north-south vehicle and you get blasted with 80 to 100 mile-an-hour winds, you're going to have 18-wheelers flipping all along I-35 tonight. It's going to happen, 100%. You're going to have vehicles flipped on 18-wheelers. This will be after dark, 8 to 10, 11 o'clock tonight, as this very powerful line, you can see my reflection of my finger, as this squall line develops rapidly in the Texas Panhandle and comes out and marches across the state at 60 to 70 miles an hour with embedded tornadoes in the line. It's going to do major power outage. You're going to have, like I said, you're going to have power outages. You're going to have roofs taken off of houses. Mobile homes are going to get destroyed. You're going to have widespread damage across the state of Oklahoma tonight. Okay, this is not limited to a very small area. This is going to be, dispatch. Yeah, definitely let dispatch know. So this is going to be a widespread, extreme wind event with embedded strong tornadoes initially back down here. Just kind of use my finger here. You're going to have tornadoes starting up here in the northeast Texas Panhandle, Canadian, up to Woodward. This area is going to have the first swath of tornadoes going to outbreak here at about 5 o'clock. 5, 6 o'clock, tornadoes explode right here. And again, this window for tornadoes is a very near area. It's either side of the state of Oklahoma border right here, and then back down back in this area, back down to Lawton in this area right in here, southwest Oklahoma. Okay, that's where the initial damaging tornadoes are going to be. And then as the line catches up with the tornadic storms, and it'll overtake it pretty quickly after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, then the entire line starts marching east with embedded QCL tornadoes in it. The winds ahead of the line are going to be on the southeast anywhere from 70 to 80 miles an hour and upwards of 100 miles an hour ahead of the line. So 60 dew points are surging north now from central Texas. I just looked. It looks like the 60 dew points are passing near Abilene right now, coming north at warp 9. I mean, they're moving north at about 40 miles an hour. And it's clearing just to me. I just have partly cloudy back east of me here. Back between El Reno and Clinton, had some partly cloudy skies. Temperature shot up 5 degrees. I'm holding currently about 57, but I'm going to jump into the 70s and the eastern Texas Panhandle as we get in that 3 o'clock, probably in the mid 70s, even out toward Amarillo ahead of the draw line, Childress area. The latest models are even forecasting lower 80s. Southwest of Childress, where the thermal ridge is poking in, and maybe even mid 70s across extreme southwest Oklahoma as you get in that 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame. And that warm air, even after dark, even if Oklahoma and central Oklahoma is like 59, you're going to warm to like 62, and then 63, and then 64. And Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Lawton, Pauls Valley, McAllister, Ponca City, same thing. Even though you may not get full sunshine this afternoon, you're not going to be in the 70s, but you're going to start off cool, in the lower 60, upper 50s as you get later today, but then it's going to warm as the 60 dew points continue to surge in Oklahoma. So as this thing ejects tonight, powerful shortwave ejecting, 60 dew points remain confined to South Texas right now on the plateau at 16Z. Guys, Deerfield northern extend the rich moisture, some all the way up to Kansas Oklahoma border. And then other ones have it coming in southern Oklahoma at the same time. The result, and a narrow plume of surface spaces along the draw line in southwest Kansas into west Texas by 21Z is 3 o'clock to 6 p.m. Scattered finish will break out at 21Z. That's 3 o'clock. Expect storms along the draw line to erupt. That's going to mainly be up to my northwest. That's going to be in southwest Kansas, southwest of Dodge, back building into the northeast Texas Panhandle. We're very large by 0Z. This is 6 p.m. Giving very favorable large mid-level photographs, which means turning in the atmosphere, right? Moisture by this time will result in most favorable temps for supercell tornadoes in southwest Oklahoma between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. In addition, very large hail and a convective line will grow quickly upscale into solid QCL acceleration east-northeast with embedded supercells and mesovortices. These are like tornado circulations. If the line bulges out and you get a little kink in the line, does that, the head of that line right there will start tornadoing, right? And there will be damaging tornadoes in the line tonight. These will be pretty extreme QCL tornadoes. Extreme low-level shear profiles in conjunction with a strengthening 700 winds of 90 knots. I'm going to tell you about the jet core coming in. Embedded swaths of 80 to 110 mile-an-hour winds, both straight line and rotation, are likely with stronger speeds into the EF2 range possible. Let me get my hand out of the way there. EF2 range possible until the QCL outpaces the richer moisture in the Kansas-Oklahoma border Missouri area overnight. Scattered damaging winds and severe storms will linger through the early morning in Missouri, mid-Mississippi Valley, despite no buoyancy given the intense low-level wind fields. This is going to be extremely destructive wind. Just under 3 million people are under a moderate risk across Oklahoma and parts of Kansas, the southeast Texas Panhandle. Okay, Joplin time, I'd say closer to midnight at Joplin, up toward Joplin, midnight. Yep. So I expect as this line erupts, you're initially going to have tornadoes. Let's go over talk about that, and let's go to the models. Let's look at the. Let me get you. Jump into, and the models are because there's so many people looking at the models right now. It's coming in really slow. So just bear with me here. Just a second here. Waiting for it to update. Okay, here we go. This is a good picture. Okay, 22Z is about 4 o'clock. Okay, so this is a HER model from 15Z, which updated at 9 o'clock. And it thinks the 60 dew points of warm front is crossing Red River at about 4 o'clock. 60 dew points. Here's the draw line back in Amarillo, Lubbock. And the next hour, if you watch it, look how it's surging north at about 30 miles an hour. That's 5 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock. Look, it's surging now up to the I-40 corridor, like just east of Shamrock, up to Eric Sayer. The warm front's up to I-40, and then it curves back to just southwest, probably near Chickasha, and then back down to southeast Oklahoma over just to the northeast of Durant and southeast Oklahoma. Okay? That's at 6 o'clock. Watch what happens. 7 o'clock, I've got thunderstorms that have erupted now up north of Canadian, between 6 and 7. They're coming in northwest Oklahoma. Gage, Visine, northwest Oklahoma. Storms are erupting. 60 dew points are now just south of that area. So these are going to produce tornadoes kind of where this poke is. And here comes the draw line. You got 61 going to 30. And if you look at these, if you look closely, see all this dry air, these pokes? That's the extreme air with a jet core. The jet core is going to be approximately, jet core is about like this. It's coming in just right in this area, right there is the jet core. Okay, so when that jet core starts crossing, you see all this dry air punching into the line. This is going to be total chaos. So you're going to have blowing dust coming down the Texas Panhandle late this afternoon. The Texas Panhandle is going to have a lot of blowing dust today. The winds go to southwest, you're going to have blowing dust blasting into the draw line, into the storms. It's probably rain and mud. I made a tweet about that yesterday. People thought I was nuts about that. You will have rain and mud thunderstorms in the eastern Texas Panhandle when this jet energy comes out, because it's so strong. You just pick up the dust. It's going to be a wall of dust blasting with the storms eastward. As the squall line comes east, it will rain mud, because dust will get entrained to the storms, and it'll rain mud. I mean, it'll be, your car will wake up tomorrow, will be coated with mud, or it'll have a lot of mud particles of dust ingrained with the water. So it's another hazard. You're going to have blowing dust. You're going to have winds. These storms are going to be moving 60 to 70 miles an hour to the east northeast. When that's happening, it's just look at, and again, this is not perfect, people. This is just kind of telling you the general idea. As the storms develop, it's jump out here and let's see what time. Okay, got some stuff on the Panhandle on the front. Upper dynamics is coming out at 4 o'clock. And then boom, there's the draw line erupting. That's at 5 o'clock. This is the latest HOR. This is the 15Z, what it thinks. Then you've got a storm up a little bit holistic southwest of Dodge. Then we go out another hour. Now we're at 6 o'clock. And all these storms are starting to rotate, or possibly producing tornadoes with damaging hail. Canadian, either side of Canadian, Perrington, up north, up here, just west of Slapout, northwest of Laverne, southwest of Buffalo, Gage, Arnett, back to your west. A line of tornadic storms is coming at you close to 6 o'clock. And you're getting back building. Then look at these big swaths. See these big intense storms? So here's a cold front. This is the leading line of the draw line. They've moved ahead of the cold front, which is now firing. And look at these swaths. When you see white on the HOR, normally you've got a very intense cell, probably producing golf ball or larger hail. And look how long these swaths are. There's going to be probably long track tornadoes. And now the cold front's exploding and erupting. And we've got also individual cells breaking out in southwest Oklahoma, right? And this is where the air mass is really warm and extremely tornadic air mass is like I-40 back over the lot in this area right here. So when storms develop and move in this area, they could produce significant tornadoes today. Boom, and then here we go. Look at this. Oh, this is even new. Look at this. I got storms even that far south. That's crazy. So I've got a damaging winds, embedded tornadoes now in this line. Cold front is rapidly catching up to it, and this is going to be at 8 o'clock. And then I've got individual storms breaking out here in Oklahoma. That's going to be Eric Sayer, back down to Mangum, back down to just west of Vernon. And we've got a storm hyper exploding south. That looks like Seymour Monday. That got to keep your eye on that. The further south storm you get into this very warm sector, this might be near 75, 65 at about 7 o'clock tonight, right? So you get storms down this area, they could produce significant tornadoes. Okay, if you can get a storm up and it maintains itself, you could have a significant tornado down in this area. So that's what it's thinking. And then it kind of lines out quickly, right? And you'll see that helicity swath stop. The tornado threat's kind of winding down a little bit. We're going to have embedded tornadoes along the line, right? And then as you see, you got embedded tornadic circulations, Ponca City up to Burrowsville. You got a really bad line poking at Tulsa. Look at this big kink coming out of Southern Creek, northern Ufusy County, Mulkey County. You got to watch that for damaging winds. So, at the end of the day, you got to look at where's the models think there's going to be helicity. What does it think? And again, this is not going to be exact. It just gives you an idea to start. That one storm we talked about down there. So you got one little cell there. Some of these are rotating. These storms up here are definitely rotating. You see all the helicity tracks, right? And that's that model, right? So all these models are similar, right? So let's look at the Nessa Wharf. I like looking at it. And again, I'm not going to go hour by hour on this. What it does is it has less up here. And this is the main warm front. It thinks it's down here north of Mangum up to Clinton, this area, Canadian County, just west of Oklahoma City, northwest, and it does have storms with QCL or tornadoes coming into Oklahoma City Metro this evening. These are tracks across the metro, so it has the more serious tornadoes, again, along I-40, back in west central and southwest Oklahoma, right? So basically it's going to be a very high-end event. It's going to cover a large part of the state of Oklahoma with damaging winds, and that's what we got to be up for, right? So to recap real quickly, let's go over here and look at satellite. And the other thing is I'm getting partly cloudy here now. I'm 57, 58 where I'm at, and yeah, it's cloudy, and you think, wow, it's not going to do nothing, right? Well, I'm going to tell you something. When you get 60, 80 knot winds at 4,000, 5,000 feet above the ground coming into the Texas-Oklahoma border, as we get into that 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock time frame, these clouds are going to be ripping north. It's going to look like a hurricane over Oklahoma. At about dark and after dark tonight, the winds at 5,000 feet from Oklahoma City all the way to Tulsa are going to be close to 100 miles an hour, sustained at 5,000 feet after 6 p.m. over a large area. And when you get that squall line comes in, it can help mix those winds down to the ground, because it's like a hurricane. You get a thunderstorm and you get real high winds here, and that storm is raining hard. It forces those winds into downbursts in what we call the RFD. As the storm passes, it'll force those winds to the ground. And the storm moving at 70, and you've got 100-mile-an-hour winds above your head at 5,000 feet, you're going to have winds 80 to 110-mile-an-hour gusts, as SPC's outlined. So this is going to be an extremely destructive, high-wind event across the state of Oklahoma. I expect widespread power outages across most of the state, especially along I-44 northward from Lawton up to Oklahoma City, up to Tulsa, north of that line, and there'll probably be some power outages south of that line with the squall line, right? But the most destructive winds are going to be along that line and north of the 44 corridor. So don't be surprised at midnight tonight if a large part of Oklahoma is without power. So what does that mean you got to do right now for safety and getting prepared? You've got to go out and buy gasoline. I bought gasoline a while ago. You got to get full before the squall line hits you. You got to go get some money out of the bank, get you a little cash, because remember, this may not be a 2 or 3 hour power outage. It could be days, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, or you could be without power for weeks in the most extreme damage areas. This is going to be a derecho. And this is not like a little tornado deal where you have a tornado path of, quarter mile, 100 yards wide, and you can go a mile north or south that path, that damage path a day or two from now, and there's powers on, and you can go to the restaurant and all that. If you take out 100-mile by 200-mile area of utility grids and high tension line wires over a big area, you could have hundreds of thousands of people without power for weeks. Okay, I want you to understand the gravity of what's going to happen tonight. So you need to get cash. You need to get gasoline. You got to get extra gas in case you got to start cutting trees down, right? Or you got to clear debris in the next couple of days. Get gas for all your gas cans. I'm telling you how to get prepared. What's getting ready to happen? This is like a hurricane, right? This is exactly what's going to be like. It's like a hurricane tonight. So get gas, get some cash. Cash is king when there's no power. You go somewhere and somebody's got a store open, maybe you can get a loaf of bread or milk or something. You need to buy something. If you got cash on you, the credit card machines won't work when there's no power. You're not getting gas. You're not getting anything. You're not going to go grocery shopping. You're not going to get food or water, right? If the power's out, it's this way it's going to be. So the other thing, get your phones charged. I would not stay in a mobile home shelter this evening after dark. You need to go to a safer place, find a more secure facility, preferably somebody with a basement. In a storm shelter, you're going to get your storm shelters cleared out. I would do that now. It's noon. I would get your storm shelters cleared out all the way from the Texas-Oklahoma border, from Woodward, all the way to Altus, all the way to Ponca City, Oklahoma City, Clinton, El Reno, all the areas, Chickasha, across the state of Oklahoma, up to Tulsa, Joplin, Fayetteville, Missouri, or Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bartlesville, trying to name all these towns, like Moggy, Ponca City, Stillwater. You guys know the area, Kingfisher, right? You need it. You need to get your storm shelters ready. This is going to be a nighttime. These are going to be moving at 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. And you're going to have, I think 70, 80 mile an hour winds are going to be pretty much standard. And if you get in the most extreme winds, that 90 to 110 that the Storm Prediction Center is now forecasting with an extreme duration across the state of Oklahoma, then you're going to want to be in an interior window. You're going to be inside of the building. Stay away from the west sides of your houses tonight. Once the line is approaching, if you got glass or bedrooms on the west side of houses, stay away from the western sides of your houses. West, southwest sides of the south. Get to the center part of your house. I would get pillows and blankets ready for the interior bathrooms or under stairs where you got fortified walls between you and the outside. If you've got families that have second floors, second stories, whether you're in apartments or condominiums or two-story houses, you don't want to be upstairs after dark tonight. When the line's approaching, you need everybody down to the first floor, interior hallways. After dark tonight, when this line's approaching you and it's coming through, you don't want to be upstairs in case the upstairs gets sheared off or you get flying debris and the roof comes off, right? Yep. So I'm trying to think of everything that's going to happen, but it's just, I'm telling you, you're going to have carport awning's going to rip off. It's going to be that kind of event, guys. You're going to have a lot of signs blown down. You're going to have a lot of cars that are going to be, the interstate's going to be clogged with probably a lot of cars flipped or trucks flipped, especially the 18-wheelers, especially the north-south on I-35. I'm very concerned about that. So you got to be thinking about if 80 to 110 mile winds come through your neighborhood, anything that's outside your house. I did this morning before I left the house to go chasing today. I took some patio furniture that was in a fairly secure area and I removed it and I basically put it right up against the house so it's basically impossible for the winds to catch it. So anything outside, your trash cans, pull furniture, anything outside, especially if it's exposed on the southwest side, if it's open and you've got exposed furniture, anything that can go flying, trash cans, anything outside, pots, anything that can go flying with 80 to 100 mile an hour winds, flags, any kind of tarps, canopies, anything that's outside like that, you need to remove it this afternoon. And if you live in Oklahoma, you need to remove those things and put them inside your garages, right? Put your cars inside the garages. Go get gas for both cars. Your cars, you got an electric car, I got an electric car home. I charged it before I left today. It's fully charged. You want everything fully charged, phones, everything like that, right? And if you live in neighborhoods like I do, where it's a lot of trees and wooded area, especially getting eastern Oklahoma, out western Oklahoma, we got a few trees, but they're not really bad, a lot of wide open areas, right? But you get back in central and eastern Oklahoma, you get past the I-35 corridor, and we get a lot more trees, a lot more woods and that kind of thing. And a lot of neighborhoods in Tulsa Metro have a lot of big trees, big heavy trees, a lot of trees. And eastern Oklahoma compared to western Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, we've had a lot more rain over the last 30, 45 days, upwards of like 8 or 9 inches, I think, in the last 45 days, roughly, in the Tulsa metro area over the last, since January. So the ground's a lot more moist over there. So if you get a sudden impact of winds of 80 to 110 hit you and in a 30-second, 60-second time frame, it's going to have a great tendency to mow over those trees. If you get a wind that's gradually builds and a tree's like swaying, it kind of keeps up the 70 mile an hour, 80 mile an hour, the tree will bend over. But you get all of a sudden you get an 80 to 110, it comes in, it goes boom, the trees are just going to fall. So you got to think about if you got trees on the west side of your house and they're weak, or they may come down. I would look at either not staying in that house today or that location. Anything that's on the west, northwest, or southwest side of your house that could be a projectile into your house, especially if it's a weaker structure, a shed, any of those kind of things. Those are the things you've got to think about tonight when these 80 to 100 mile an hour winds plow across the state of Oklahoma. Again, mainly along 40 and then 44 on up to Tulsa, Joplin, Bartlesville, that corridor, like northern third of Oklahoma, right? So reach out to your parents, reach out to your elderly people. Again, I cannot impress upon you enough, and the story's going to be tomorrow when the sun rises in over Oklahoma. The squall line's already in Missouri and Arkansas. And the sun rises, we start assessing the damage across the state of Oklahoma. You're going to see roof probably off houses and buildings. You're going to see a lot of mobile homes that are going to be flipped, destroyed. You're probably going to have, unfortunately, we're going to have some probably injuries and maybe fatalities tonight. Unfortunately, it's probably going to happen because this is going to be an extreme event. I don't know how to express it any harder than that. It's going to be an extreme event over a huge swath of the state of Oklahoma. So again, you got to get ready for this incredible event that's going to happen. As I'm sitting here talking to you, look what's happening. Look at the moisture. Look at the moisture flooding north at probably 50 miles an hour now over my head. Look at the clearing now in western Oklahoma, out just east of the Texas-Oklahoma border. Look at the clouds now. I'm starting to get roll clouds because everything is flooding northward as this powerful system's coming down. I'm still about 6 hours away before storms develop to my northwest 100 miles, but I still got 6-7 more hours of just this incredible. Look at this. I got ACAS Solanas mid-level cooling coming in, and those are the clouds ripping north. Guys, this is going to be a big. The sun's out. The sun's out all from west central Oklahoma, northwest Oklahoma, just west of Woodward, down to near the state line, Oklahoma, down to Childers. The sun is out, and all the Texas Panhandle now is clearing here. Okay, look at this. We've got sunshine. Let's go back to satellite. Look at this. Look at the satellite. I know it's going to be hard to see here, but look at the, just try to zoom in here. Here's the total sunshine out in the Panhandle, 660 out, 66 full sunshine. Here's the state line of Oklahoma. It's right here. There's the state line right here. The clearing line is coming into to western Oklahoma right now. It's full sunshine now at Woodward. It's almost sunny at Alva to south of Woodward. You're in total full sunshine now. Here's the northwest edge of the moisture starting to accumulate. That's just northwest of me. That's the deeper moisture starting to come in just above the surface, not at the surface. It's still the per 40 dew points now starting to come in. Here's 50 dew points out in the Texas Panhandle. So the upper mid-level clouds are rapid clearing, but here's the low-level moisture coming in, right? Plainview's got a 54 dew point now, went 50. There's 60, 54, 60, 55. 55, very high. Look at this now, down here at Del Rio, down here Midland, northwest of Midland. Andrews now down, 62, 59 dew point. Look at all the upper 50 dew points. Midland now, 60 dew point. The 60s, 59 dew points are surging, are coming up from the south now. Looks like Abilene's now, 62 dew point. 60, it's all 60, 63, 64 dew points now, 65 dew point east of San Angelo. So that moisture, that deep moisture surging north, is right here. It's about 100 miles, 150 miles south. It's down here all along from just south of Fort Worth, Hillsboro, back over here in the Midlands, where there's mega juice is right here. It's going to lift north, right? And it's got 6 hours to do that. It's going to make it. We're going to have 60 dew points surging across southern Oklahoma. So basically, get ready for an extreme event, damaging winds. And for February, in a lot of aspects, it's going to be an historic event. This is unprecedented to have this kind of an extreme event for February, right? So let me see if I can get this to go forward. Internet here is having a real hard time just to keep up on stuff. Let's see if I can get this. Nope, can't even get to pop. Oh, these are just Storm Prediction Center meso-analysis page kind of telling me There's a higher cape right now. The higher capes now are coming up the hard area, Midland, and then back over to west of Lubbock, then Amarillo. Then move it northward. There we go. 6 hours from now, 1,500 Cape, southwest Kansas. You're going to have tornadoes up there. And then look at the big southeast winds, 1,500 Cape poking in southeast Oklahoma. This is towards the 6 o'clock area. So this is the area that's going to have, you're going to have some problems later, right? Here's the tornado parameters that's at 6 p.m. Look what it's doing. Tornado parameters, southwest Oklahoma, going out here to Shamrock, going up to Canadian, going up to Perrington. See this boundary here, and this boundary is going to flood northward as it gets in that 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame. Tornado outbreak. I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, we're going to have a tornado outbreak in the northeast, east central, southeast Texas Panhandle. Tornado outbreak starting at 4 to 5 o'clock. Tornado outbreak, damaging tornadoes in the counties here. That's going to be Canadian County, Wheeler, Shamrock, down to Childress here. Tornado outbreak in the 6 to 7 o'clock, 5 to 7 o'clock time frame, right in here. Okay, the models are getting better and better forecast. This is an excellent, the Storm Prediction Center, I'll say it again, has done an incredible job with this forecast on this outbreak of what's going on. But most people we're used to seeing 75, 70 degrees with 65, and that's where our mindset is. This is an incredible event with this powerful system coming out. And it's going to have a lot of jet dynamics with it. Let me see if I can bring up the upper winds because they are pretty crazy with these jet dynamics. Let me go to another panel here. Let me see if I can even show you here this. And let's jump here let's go out here at about 7 or 8 o'clock here. Just waiting for this to catch up here. Again, just waiting for it to catch up. Here it comes. Boom. Let's go up here to 500 millibars. The jet's going to come smashing in, comes in probably just north of Lubbock. Near Lubbock, waiting for this to update. All the websites are loading. Here we go. There it is. Okay, here's 7 p.m. Look at that. That's just insanity. So down at the bottom there, everything in yellow, there's 110. It's over 110. The numbers are so high. Let me see what the max is. It's crazy. 130. 100, this is at 500 millibars, 130, might have a 140 knot jet core at 500 millibars. See how this is at about 15,000 feet. Look at this, 90 knots. So 100 mile an hour jet core is coming into southwest Oklahoma at 6 or 7 p.m., 6 p.m., okay? And what it's doing, if you'll notice, the winds here are more kind of, the winds over Tulsa more like this. So the jet core, it's kind of hard to do this in this car. The jet is splitting. The jet is like this. It's diaphlance over southwest Oklahoma. It's this incredible jet core. It's splitting. Okay, and here comes this big, huge ball of energy. Okay, just go a couple hours farther. Look at this big ball of energy. 140 knot jet core. Eric Sayer come blasting in here. Okay, this guys, this means business. This is about as crazy as you can get. If we were warm today, like 75, 65 over the state of Oklahoma, we'd probably have the worst tornado outbreak in Oklahoma history. I'll just tell you right now, and I can back that up. If it was 75, 65 across the state of Oklahoma today, it's not. But if it was, we'd have probably a historic tornado outbreak across the state. It's that extreme. Okay, this is extreme. This is let me get my winds here. This is 850. This is at 5,000 feet. I'm at 60 knots at about 4 o'clock this afternoon, 4 to 5. Then as we get into 7 o'clock tonight, look what happens, folks. This is ridiculous. 70 knots, 60 to 70 knot, 850 at 5,000 feet. The winds are at 60, 70 knots out of the south, and they're back. They're south-southeast. You got south-southwest wind here, south-southeast here. You're gonna have bad things happen. Not only damaging tornadoes, but you're gonna have embedded mesocyclones, QCL tornadoes. This is extreme. It just doesn't get any crazier. Then look at this. Look how worse it gets. 80 knots all along Oklahoma City, Ponca City, all central Oklahoma, Chickasha, Lawton, 80 knot jet core at 5,000 feet. Okay. Then it moves over to Tulsa, 70 knots, 80 knots, 85 knots. This is at 5,000 feet. Folks, and then at the same time, you got this ripping 70, 80 knot jet out of the south. Then look to the west. You got 70 knots, 70, 80 knots coming in from the west going into that other deal. You're going to have bad things are going to happen, right? This is like crazy numbers. This is about as extreme as it gets. I mean, this is about as extreme as you can get, folks. It's just, there's no other way to tell you. Um, Trying to think what else to show you here. The crossover, the photographs are going to be pretty extreme. Is Dallas safe? You're going to have some storms down there. It should be a weakening line of storms, probably not near the wind damage or hail. You may have a very light thunderstorm activity in Dallas after midnight as the squall line pushes east. You'll be on the flanking line of that, but don't expect it to be too extreme down there at this point. This extreme tornado air mass, southwest Oklahoma. If a storm latches on, if a well-established storm latches on to this extreme tornado air mass along and south of I-40, if we can get a storm to latch down, it's gonna be hard because the best jot in the left front quarter in the jet dynamics is really closer to I-40. But if this extreme air mass down here at the Red River at 6 o'clock, if it can get up underneath this jet core, then there's gonna be something really bad happen either side of I-40, like bad damaging tornadoes. Again, I think besides the tornado threat, what I'm going to focus on is the wind. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the damaging winds, right? The clearing line's coming in. We're going to warm up to the upper 60s and really to the low to mid 70s back west of me and southwest of me. It's going to be near 80, just southwest of Childers, and that's the area that we're going to expect some development back to my west southwest. And the clouds are ripping. I mean, they're ripping to my north. So anyway, that's it for right now. I can tell you, no, this is Oklahoma. It won't be in Missouri until probably midnight, around midnight, southwest Missouri. Watch out for damaging winds, possibly some QCL tornadoes embedded in the line. Mainly straight line damaging winds over there. You might still have a few tornado spin-ups too. All right, that's it. That's a wrap from Western Oklahoma. Just be prepared. Okay, it's gonna be a really bad day overnight tonight. It's really a tonight event, and give you a little update a little bit later. Okay, I'm gonna go look for some tornadoes and get ready to go here in about, we're 1 o'clock, and so we're about 5 hours away from it getting crazy. All right, everybody, thank you for touching base and tuning in, and we'll try to get something else out a little bit later. All right, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.